So, sitting here very formally in this white table, because we're addressing the elephant in the room. That's kind of already been spoken about. Yeah. We weren't hiding it. It was just like working through your life.
No, and look, we're both in prep for the Olympia as well, and there's obviously other things on our mind, and getting the cloud of the social media world, this felt like the right time to kind of come out with it. So we wanted to sit down and kind of talk to you about where we're at in our coaching relationship. Mm-hmm.
So surprise. Me and Iain will not be working together this year as a coach-client relationship.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy decision for either of us, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm doing this body transformation challenge, like just to try to look my best. And that means leaner, and I don't know what my physique's gonna look like, to be honest, because right now, like, I'm really lean. It's just that I could tighten up a few areas, and I want to get a little fuller. I don't know if that necessarily means bigger or bigger on a scale, but that's kind of the goal. So hopefully you guys can share this, like what's going on. I'm not going on a competition stage, but you know what? I would like to, if I felt confident enough, like if my body actually came around enough, I would actually consider maybe, like posing.
Yes, posing.
All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, Jay Cutler answering the question of whether or not he'll step back on stage. So he talks about the fact, these two recent pictures that we saw of Jay, this is kind of where the conversation began. So he was doing a collab with a guy named Lex Little, who I believe is a TikToker. And he says he wasn't planning on posing or doing any videos or pictures posing, but Lex talked him into it, I guess, and he ended up doing it kind of impromptu posing session, and didn't really expect the reaction that the photos got. Now, he also does say in this video, this recent episode of Jaywalking on his channel, that he has no plans of stepping on stage and competing, and that includes the Masters Mr. Olympia. But he says his goal is to get in the best shape of his life between January 1st and his 50th birthday. He even said he had the goal of looking how he looked in 2013, and he said he even kind of had it in the back of his mind, maybe that same weight range, to be in the 240s by the end of the process. And he said if he ended up looking good enough and he was confident enough in how he was looking, he would consider doing like some guest posing and stepping on stage and doing posings like that, but not in the competitive sense. So my thing is, for Jay to be at 240 in really good shape, really lean, really conditioned, I think that would be competitive. And I mean, it is going to put some stress on his body at that age just to look good in a guest posing. I really think that it wouldn't take a whole lot of extra effort for him to go ahead and do something like the Masters Olympia. It's not like we're going to see some mass monsters that are over 50 jump in the Masters Olympia that would smoke Jay Cutler. Most of the bodybuilders that are iconic bodybuilders in their 50s or above 50 are probably a lot closer to 200 pounds than they are to 240 or 250. I think if Jay really was 240 something lean at the end of this little transformation that he's doing, I think he'd be extremely competitive, and I don't think he'd have to really do anything crazy just to compete in something like the Masters Olympia, because the level of competition is not going to be that insane. I mean, who can you guys think of that's over 50 right now that would give Jay a real run for his money if he was 240 pounds? I'm just saying, if he's doing the transformation anyway, health-wise, I don't think it would be that much more extreme to compete on top of that in a Masters show. But he does say he's not doing it. Now, this reminds me of another bodybuilder, Kevin Levrone, who made a pretty massive comeback to regular open bodybuilding in his 50s, and that is Kevin Levrone. And Kevin Levrone apparently is beginning a transformation of his own for 2023. He says it's going to be a 12-week transformation. He's getting back into kind of a different style of training compared to his former bodybuilding style of training. And he is well over 50 now. And he wants to transform his physique for 2023, which again, I think this is all very interesting that you're seeing these bodybuilders that have been retired for a while, they're in their late 40s or 50s, suddenly getting back in shape and doing these transformations after the announcement that the Masters Mr. Olympia would return in 2023. Could Kevin Levrone be a guy we see on that Masters Olympia stage? Another guy that's 50 and over, Lee Priest, has been doing a little transformation of his own lately. A lot of guys, these bigger names that we're familiar with, seem to be getting back in shape with that 2023 Masters Mr. Olympia on the horizon. And personally, that's what I would want to see on the Masters Olympia stage, not just whatever Masters bodybuilder could qualify for it. I'd like to see like these old bodybuilding legends that are still in shape, they're still healthy, they're still bringing a physique that could be competitive at 50 plus, like Jay Cutler, like Lee Priest, like a Kevin Levrone, hell, maybe even Dexter Jackson, but he's already made it pretty clear he's not doing it. I wouldn't want to watch a Masters Olympia where there's no like legends in the lineup, but just a bunch of guys that are over 50. And I did see Phil Heath leave a comment on Kevin Levrone's post, and he said, "Nice, I'm doing something quite similar. And yes, it's different muscles being activated for sure." I thought it was kind of funny that all Kevin Levrone said back was, "Gotcha." But I know that Phil's trying to get in shape for the suit. He made a comment in an interview where he said he was trying to get in really good shape before this year's Olympia, so he looks good in a suit, not to be competitive. But I still think, and I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, I still think that we're going to see Phil on stage again in the future. Not this year, but he's clearly still training pretty hard. He's clearly still holding on to a pretty significant amount of muscle. He's not too old to come back and compete in Men's Open. I mean, he's still in his early 40s, but I guess let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Am I reading too much into the Phil Heath thing? I just thought this was an interesting comment. Obviously, it's not applicable to maybe a comeback in 23 or 24, but also let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the Masters Mr. Olympia. What would you like to see happen in a lineup like that? What would you watch? What would you buy a ticket for? What would the lineup look like for a Masters Mr. Olympia 2023? Would you like to see, Cutler, Lee Priest, Kevin Levrone, some of these names, or would you just like to see whatever pro bodybuilders are over 50 at the time that are active and can qualify for that? I'm assuming it's going to be something you got to qualify for. Now, next up in the news, this latest post from Chris Bumstead, which, by the way, I don't think any of these physique updates in this post are recent ones, but it does address the rumor that was going around, which is now confirmed, that he is not going to be working with his brother-in-law, Iain Valliere, anymore as his prep coach for the Olympia. He doesn't say who he's working with now, so he put up an Instagram post and he put up a YouTube video training with Iain, where him and Iain both sat down and kind of discussed this, but it still doesn't answer the question of who Chris Bumstead is working with now for his Olympia prep. And basically the reason that they gave was essentially the fact, and this makes perfect sense, that Iain Valliere is prepping for the Men's Open Olympia, Chris is prepping for Classic Physique. It kind of didn't really allow Iain time to focus on himself because he's focused about Chris. He's stressed about Chris. He's trying to give Chris the best coaching service that he can while also trying to peak and prepare himself for the Olympia just at a different day, different time. And as two athletes that are both competing in the same Olympia, just different categories, they really need to spend more time focusing on themselves. And that really does make total sense. And also Iain brings up that, it's one thing to keep winning the Olympia for Chris, but it's another thing to want to improve from year to year and look better than he looked last year. And he said he's kind of reached that limit with Chris to where he can't give that to him to where a different coach might be able to. And Chris goes on to thank Iain, for all the help over the years and that sort of thing. But still, my theory on this, it's Hani Rambod. I think that the rumors that I've heard is that Chris is working with Hani. It still remains unconfirmed by both Chris and Hani. I did think one interesting thing, though, is that recently on Hani Rambod's podcast, he had Generation Iron on his podcast, and he said they were in Texas working on a project, and I know that one of the big projects that they're working on now is a Chris Bumstead documentary, and maybe that could add up to Chris, because they didn't talk about what that specific project was that they were in Texas for. They kind of glossed over that. They talked about Hadi Chupin a little bit, who Hani is also working with and was featured in Generation Iron 3 or 4. I haven't seen any of the other ones besides the first one. But I think they were there filming the Chris Bumstead documentary, and obviously Hani was there. I think Hani and Chris were training together or whatever, and they ended up going on Hani's podcast because they were already there. That's my theory. My theory is that he's working with Hani Rambod, and I think that's going to be a solid choice for him. I think Hani is really probably the best coach in the game. What he was able to do with Derek Lunsford, I think, was amazing. Hadi Chupin, probably one of the most consistently conditioned guys in the Olympia. Obviously, that comes from really good coaching, really good discipline as well from the athlete, but his track record with Phil Heath, Hani Rambod is an incredible coach, and if anybody is going to take Chris to the next level, I would think it would be him. But again, this still remains unconfirmed, so if it's not Hani Rambod, I want you to let me know in the comment section below who you think Chris is working with and why. Then also, if it is Hani Rambod, let me know if there's another coach that you think Chris should be working with instead of Hani, and then why. Who do you think would bring the best version of Chris? Would it be Chad Nichols? Would it be George Farah? Would it be Matt Jansen? Would it be Chris Aceto? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you leave a like, a big thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. Click that bell notification icon to be notified every time I upload a main channel video. It will not notify you for the shorts, just the main videos. So if that's all you want to see, click the bell notification icon. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick, Strength, and Power. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.
Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in